Hello, right, we're going to start by looking at a question 2 on the medicine paper. Now this question is one of the easier questions on this paper, and you can see that it only has 6 marks, and therefore you're allocated 9 minutes to complete this question. Now this question, you can see, just involves you describing, which is one of the easier skills. But it gives you an indication straight away of what it wants you to describe. And you're looking at the role of the government in keeping people healthy in the Roman period. Now, when you're answering a question like this, you need to be answering it on a 2-paragraph answer, which you can see here. Now, whenever you start a question, you want to make 2 separate points in each of the paragraphs. Now, in your first line, you will be introducing the topic. So you are using key words from the question. Now here I've used the keyword of strong central government, and I've started to implement some information there of huge empire, because the Roman Empire was one that covered most of Europe and the parts of North Africa. So in order to maintain this, the Romans needed a strong central government, which was mainly based in Rome, and then infiltrated out into each of the countries within its empire. Now, this question is focusing not on how government worked, but focusing on how it impacted the health of people. And the first thing we need to make clear is the government was valuing the health of its people, and it took a major role in preventing illness, i.e. keeping people healthy. Now, the Roman government was extremely well organised and had a clear directives of what it wanted to achieve. And because of it being well organised and having power and also having funds, money, that's incredibly important when you're dealing with issues such as public health, which this question is dealing with. So this money was used to invest in large-scale projects. Now, obviously, such examples you want to include here to show the examiner that you have the understanding and knowledge of this area. So here I've used the example of aqueducts, and I've explained how they were used to convey clean water into the cities where many Roman citizens lived, because there were lots of cities within Rome, the Roman Empire. Now, rather than just leaving it at water being piped in, obviously that's not the answer to keeping people healthy. There are other aspects to this. Now, although the water was brought in by aqueducts, the water was also piped around into the cities, and there were facilities such as public baths, and I've given an example here in Bath in England, and I've linked it back to the question by saying that these helped improve the hygiene of the population, having a positive impact on their health. Now, obviously, that key paragraph is talking about the role of the government and them having money in order to invest in specific examples of public health. And that public health is about keeping people healthy, keeping the conditions in the city good. But we want to now write a second paragraph. And now this second paragraph, I'm starting it with a key connective there, furthermore. And what I'm moving on to in this paragraph is the link that the Roman government made between dirt, marshes, and bad air, which they called miasma, and which they believe contributed to disease. Now, obviously, if they believe the bad smells contributed to disease, they want to do something about that. So what the government tried to do was improve the conditions in towns. Now, how they do this, you want to show your specific knowledge again. You're talking about them building a network of sewers and public latrines, and all of this was to ensure that sewage and waste was directed out of the city to leave the city in a much better state, to cut down on the examples of miasma and dirt and disease, and to ensure those cities people remained healthy. Now, I've also brought into line here another way that the government help achieve this. We've already spoken about the government investing money and helping to organise it, but I've also implemented or included the role of the Roman army, because obviously with a huge empire, the Roman army was a considerable section of a very powerful, large army, which was used to help build these schemes. So the Roman army plays a role, and the central government organises that Roman army, and they're used to build these schemes, such as the aqueducts, such as getting the pipe water in, such as making sure there are reservoirs. Now, in addition to this, the development of the road system, which was operated across the empire and was also encouraged by the government and the army, meant that the examples of good practice that were first maybe initialised in Rome spread throughout the empire. So the role in the government was incredibly important in this period. So I sum up by using my last line. Can you see I'm beginning it overall, or you can use in conclusion? The government had a central role in keeping the people of Roman period healthy by improving public health to stop the spread of disease. And I've linked that back to make sure that I'm focusing on the question there. Okay.